Hi and welcome back to the channel, and in this episode the countdown to the start of the 2025 rally season is well and truly on. So behind me we've got a workshop full of cars, and it is the very last day of March, so tomorrow, April, is the season starts in April, so we don't have much time at all. Now, out of all these cars we've got plenty of work to do. We'll take you through that shortly. However, we're going to be tackling pretty much two rallies almost back to back, almost simultaneous in a lot of regards, because one of them is here in Western Australia, which is the start of the season, and then we're going to be trekking several thousand kilometres across the country to one of the most popular events in Australia, the Rally of the Heartland in South Australia. We're going to take you on the journey with us. Now, out of these cars, two, probably these ones that you can see, are probably the easiest to see, are brand new builds. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'd know that we are building those and we're putting the progress of those up. However, also up here behind me on the hoist is the VR4. I'll take you through why that's in here at the moment. That needs some considerable work. And sort of just over my right shoulder there in the background is the Mark II Escort, which we're also doing a whole bunch of work on. We've started a video series on the work on that as well. So let's take a bit of a look at what we've got, where we are, and how we're going to go getting this all sorted out in time. We've got all these cars quite tightly packed in here at the moment. We don't normally have that many all at once. So the orange GC, the Forest Weapon, we've been working on this, and we've got a series on YouTube about that, so you may have been following along. The progress is happening. There is still a little bit of work to do to get that ready to go and sorted out. The good news is we are progressing on this. This one, probably of all the cars, is probably the closest at being sort of ready to go, and we've tested it, shaken it down, and everything's gone okay. However, we still need to pour a few hours into this one to get it finished and get it up to what we need to do. The next closest is probably the Legacy B4 or Liberty B4, which we are still working on at the moment. We have got seats and harnesses, and you can see other bits and pieces in there. Yes, there is another video coming out on that. However, no windscreen in it yet. Got to get on and see what we can do to get that sorted out and get the dash crash pad back in. There is still work to do on this one, and we've still got to bounce it through all the paperwork needed to be ready as a rally car. However, thankfully it is beginning to get a little bit closer, so not too bad. However, it's still got quite a long list and does need quite a bit of work to be done yet. The Escort tucked in very tightly beside the Forest Weapon. Well, it's got no front suspension in it at the moment. We have got the suspension back, which is great. We had to take that out and rebuild it and service it. However, I've got to get the cross member out of the car, so sup guard off and all that sort of stuff, and get the front suspension sorted out for some new lower control arms. Now the VR4, down to just a bare flywheel and nothing else. The gearbox is out, and we found a whole bunch of drama in there on Friday last week that we now need to sort out, which we weren't planning on. I don't know how well the camera will pick that up, but hopefully you can see there is rather a large crack here in the bell housing, and that extends right around to about here. So we have to get that sorted out and welded up. There has been a failure down lower on the gearbox, and what's happened is the gearbox has started flexing like this and cracked the bell housing. And the first we knew about it was there was a little bit of drama with the clutch engaging and disengaging gears, and that's the end result. And we also found in there a whole bunch of other nasty stuff that's happened to the car in the past, parts that we haven't pulled off the VR4 previously that we've had to take off now, and found lots of nastiness in there. Anyway, so we're going to sort all that out at the same time. However, it is probably another day or thereabouts or more worth of work to do we hadn't intended on. While we're at it, we're also going to change out the suspension arms and put some chromoly rose jointed arms and other bits and pieces in as well. So that will definitely keep us occupied. It's the Wednesday morning before the first round of the State Rally Championship, which is the Windvale Stages Rally coming up on Saturday. So we've only got a couple of days left to go for that. Last night we had scrutineering for the Windvale Stages Rally, and effectively we've got the Escort entered in that event as shakedown for the car, so we'll be ready for South Australia to take it across to Rally of the Heartland. Everything went fine at scrutineering last night, which is the good news. No major dramas at all. We've got a couple of little things that we need to sort out, like seat adjustments, and some electrics still need to be sorted out on that. However, that should be ready to go, and fingers crossed that that event all goes fine and we don't have too much drama with it, and then we can turn the car around for South Australia to get it on a trailer. In the meantime, the VR4 needs quite a bit of attention, so that's where the focus is today, to get the at least start getting the gearbox sorted out for that and get it all back in the car and everything else. And we've got some suspension arms and things to change as well, so we'll get on to do that. Fingers crossed that's done in the next couple of days, and then we need to get on to the Subaru and finish the Orange Forest weapon so that that is also ready to go. So we've still got a long way to go in a very short space of time. Oh boy, this VR4 is the gift that just keeps on giving. So this very interesting looking bushes with a nasty looking hole in it was the front mount on the transmission, or the engine mounts. So this is what these bushes did go into. So they sat in there, and the steel crush tube or bush that sat in the middle of there was just basically flopping around inside there. There was not doing anything at all. It's hard to say. These might have been homemade, or somebody's modified them off something else and they weren't quite the right fit, because it was flogged out. And I've never seen a bush like that flogged out that badly. I've definitely seen cracked and broken rubber bushes, but that was well and truly flogged out. Which is interesting, because normally if the front ones are worn out, the rear one would also be worn out as well. And the rear one was actually still in pretty good condition. So what we did was we ordered some new poly bushes for them. They're available off the shelf for the VR4, and they go in. Or so you'd think. Unfortunately, the bushes weren't the right size. Basically, this width here totals about 55 millimeters. And the thickness of the bushes, both internally that sit inside here and externally, made them about 70 or 75 millimeters. I think that's 70 mil. So they were 15 to 20 mil too big. So we have had to put them on the lathe and spin them down and machine them down to the right size so that they'll fit into the bracket, basically the engine mount bracket on the block. So after a bit of fooling around, that's done and ready to go. So we can bolt that back in. And these things are no good for anything, so they can go in the bin. Also, questionable about this bolt. I don't know what that bolt is, or that's obviously not the factory bolt that goes in there. So we're going to change that out, put high tensile bolts through there as well, some new ones, and that will then make sure that everything is fine. Bolting the gearbox back in the car replaced all the engine and gearbox bolts anyway. That some of them are questionable, like they've just lost or not used them, or the factory bolts have been stressed or stretched. And yeah, we don't want any more dramas with needing to remove the transmission out of this car again for anything. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, so it's Sunday morning, 13th of April, I think. I'm losing track of the days. Yesterday was the first round of the State Rally Championship, the Windvale Stages Rally, where we really took the Escort just to shake it down and see what happened, and also to give the owner a bit of time behind the wheel just to get used to it on gravel. First time that it had been driven on gravel in anger, and I think the first rally this car has done since about 2018, I think. Luckily, nothing major went wrong. It all was pretty okay. We have a few minor bits and pieces that we need to sort out on it, and we need to go through it all, obviously, and because we've only got 3 days to go before the cars need to be ready to go on a truck, and then we've got Easter. It's going to be pretty busy. All right, let's get into it. Right, so it's been another very long and busy day. We have been working away on the Galant to get that all back together and sorted, and we have, which is the good news with that. The gearbox and clutch and everything's all gone in, and it's all good to go. Drives okay, which is the main thing, and we've also put all new suspension arms through it, front and rear as well, so the old ones or the factory ones will become spares for the rally. So that has been sorted out. That took us probably the first half of the day or so. And then the second half of the day, we have been working on the GC, the forest weapon. So the first up with that was to replace the lower control arms. We had some steel ones in there. We wanted to change those out for aluminium ones, so we have done that. We've also gone on and done a little bit of wiring that was still needed to be finished off inside the car. Got all the roll cage padding sorted and a few other little bits and pieces. And currently, whilst I'm sitting in front of this pile of tyres here, Damien is busily fitting up the lights. So we've got lights to fit to that car, extra lights, spotlights we need for the night stages over in Borough at the Rally of Heartland. Now, why am I sitting in front of a pile of tyres? Well, in between all that, we have unloaded the truck and got ourselves partially sorted out from the rally yesterday. And also, we are starting to sort through what we need to take with us over to South Australia. So 2 of the cars are going in a car transporter, in a truck, like a semi-trailer, and we have room for spares and tools in there, so it will all get loaded into that. We're not taking our own vehicles with us this time around. And the other car, the Escort, is going over on a trailer, so the owner is going to tow that over. So that means that we've got to get everything all organised and sorted, because when the cars are due to be on the truck, all of the spares and everything else have to be on the truck at the same time. So we're just trying to get all that done, and there is a mountain to go through and a list of that as well. And we really have left that to the sort of the last of the things on the list to get sorted, because we've been so busy getting the cars prepped to go. The VR4 is going for a wheel alignment tomorrow morning, and hopefully the forest weapon will be able to do the same, and that'll be some more items checked off the list. And then we can look forward to the final bits and pieces on that. Okay, so it's just after 7 on Monday morning, just about 12 hours later from when we left here in the first place. Just opened up the doors. Quick update. So we got a couple of cars ready to go for a wheel alignment this morning. They're sitting in front of me here. We'll get them out and get them ready to go shortly. However, this Escort went to start the blasted thing yesterday evening in the dark, and it wouldn't start. I don't know exactly what's wrong with it. There's no spark for some reason. I think there's some issue with the distributor now, or maybe the coil. So that's going to be the first up this morning to get that going, and yeah, then we can keep working on it. Right, working away on sorting out why the car won't start. It's an electrical issue, and it appears to be something to do with the wiring going down to the distributor. It's got electronic ignition in it. Something questionable's happened there, I'm not sure what. So we'll re-terminate those wires. I was looking for a slight split or crack or something in the insulation somewhere where a tiny bit of moisture might have got into it. I haven't found anything. So yeah, anyway, we'll sort that out, and then hopefully that will be under control and we won't have any more issues with it. So that would be part of the problem there. These wires, the copper is all corroded and black, so we will crimp some new terminals on there, and we will also solder those as well so that we have a better connection. Right, so whilst doing some work this morning, which included changing the thermostat over and some coolant in there, obviously, while doing that, and also a new distributor cap. That was interesting. Very difficult to get a distributor cap these days, and a rotor button. They're just not really stocked. There's not much call for these sort of things anymore, and a new set of ignition leads on there. So that's now all under control. While we're at it, also discovered something interesting. There is no earth strap on this engine, so no strap between the body and the engine block. I'm not sure how the engine's getting an earth, probably for the exhaust or some other way at the moment, which is definitely not ideal, and that can cause electrical troubles on these engines, and charging faults as well, things like that. So we will add one of those to it. We'll order one of those and get that crimped and fitted up. because the battery is in the boot, and that is just terminated straight to the earth strap in the boot is terminated to the body of the car. So we need to get that from the body of the car to the engine to make sure that that all is going to be earthed correctly. There is other electrical troubles in there that we discovered late yesterday afternoon. We resolved the one with the coil and the ignition wiring that was stopping that, so that was under control, and now some more have surfaced. So we just have to keep working our way around this car to get it sorted so it's reliable. As we are travelling to the other side of the country, and the rally is like 500 k's of competitive stages, we need to have a few other bits and pieces that we may not necessarily carry on some of the shorter events. So at the moment we're amassing things like oil and filters, spark plugs for the Escort coil as well. A few other bits and pieces. We need some alternator or fan belts, radiator caps, just some consumable items. You just never know whether you'll need them or not. And you know, being that we are a long way from home, we just want to make sure that we've got that handy in case we need to use it. The Rally of the Heartland has some night stages in it. One of those stages is actually 80 kilometres long, so it's a very long night stage. So having good lights is critical to make sure that the competitors can see where they're going in the dark. Now, we are using on the Escort, this is a new light pod, fiberglass pod that has been made. It comes all blanked across the face, so we have had to mark out and cut the holes for the lights. They're designed to use a pod style light as opposed to a standard light that you might see on the roo bar or bull bar or front of a four-wheel drive. You can use like LED light bars and things like that, but most modern cars, they don't really have anywhere to mount them, and even the Escorts don't have a great deal. Now, we could have used the old style fixed light assemblies like Civi Super Oscars or something like that, which were very common to be used on the Escorts and other classic cars from back in the day. However, the customers opted for a light pod, so bought this this fiberglass light pod, and these are one type of light that can go in it. These are a Light Force Venom light. They're Australian. Light Force is an Australian company. They're an LED light, and they come as a spot, so they basically come like that, and then they also have a diffuser available for them, which makes them into a driving or spread beam, which is what we're using on this application. Now, these particular lights have actually come out of, they're not brand new, they've come out of some other pods for a Subaru, and we are just transferring them over into this, which is on the surface no major drama. Now, these are actually designed to sit in from the back. They actually are flush mounted to sit in there. However, there's not enough room in the pod to mount these from the back, so they've got to be mounted on the front of the pod, which in itself is no major hassle in terms of mounting. And part of the reason we can't mount them, as you can probably see there, the top hole, this pod's upside down, is very close to the top there. There's not enough room to get in there with the factory bits and pieces, and the light won't fit in there. And if we rotate the light around in a different orientation, then basically this gap here is actually where the bonnet will sit. There's about 30mm there for the bonnet. So these lights are quite close to the bonnet at the bottom and quite close at the top. So no big drama there. We'll mount them another way. You probably can just see there at the back there, there's a spring there. So basically that spring holds tension, and then when you tighten and loosen the bolt, that is how the lights are adjusted for their positions. It's about 7:45 on a Wednesday morning. Don't ask me what the date is. I know it's only a couple of days before Easter. It was another very long day yesterday. Got out of here at 8:30 or 9 o'clock or something like that last night, trying to get some preparations done. Sign writing done on the Forest Weapon. So the Subaru is sign written, all its stickers are on it, and finishing off the last bits and pieces on the Escort. There were still some bits and pieces to just finalise on that. And then prepping bits and pieces like rolling a few tyres onto rims and whatever. It even with like half a dozen of us in the workshop last night, it still took quite some time. And it's going to be another big day today. Got to get some sill stands made up amongst other bits and pieces, and get the cars two of the cars scrutineered, so checked out, ready for the rally of Heartland. And then it should be looking good to be able to get everything loaded onto the truck tomorrow morning, and that should be that. So we'll see how it goes. Pretty bleary-eyed. It's been a long, well, it's been quite a long time, but a long week of late nights. Anyway, it's just about there. So we're going right down to the wire with this one, trying to get the forest weapon done. The last little bit is we're just wiring up the new lights now, our laser carbon lights. So once they are all wired up, we'll give them a test and check it out. So the last little things to do, just put some convoluted tube on the wiring, just to make sure that it's well protected and it's neat. And that should be just about that.